What's good, y'all? It's Austin, and welcome back to episode 4 of the Rebuild Project. First off, I just want to say happy Halloween, everyone. I hope you guys have a safe Halloween, taking the kids trick-or-treating, turning up with the friends and family at the Halloween parties. Man, it feels good to be back in front of this mic, y'all. Let me just tell y'all, life been great lately. Busy as hell, but great. I just been locked in, stacking bricks, focused on the movement, making sure everything I'm building lines up with the bigger picture. And you already know, decorating for tonight, that's been keeping me real busy. Your boy gotta have one of the best houses on the block. And look, low key, y'all, it's helping me tap in with my inner child, spookiness, you feel me? I never got to experience that growing up, so now that I got my own home, and I can do that for my wife and my family, it's dope as fuck. So, yeah, happy Halloween, y'all. And sometimes, guys, I said life's been going great lately, and it's been busy as hell. And it's not that life's hard sometimes. Sometimes it's just full between work, content, the podcast, and real life. I've been moving nonstop. But it's that kind of busy that feels good. Don't make you feel like shit. Makes you feel like you're doing the right thing. You're doing something. So staying busy isn't always a bad thing. It's kind of like you're finally walking in what you prayed for, if you get what I'm saying. And since it's spooky season, I figured this was the perfect time to catch up and, just keep it real. Nothing heavy, just vibes tonight. No horror stories, you feel me? Unless we're talking about old habits and fake energy we had to bury, then, those are some fucking horror stories. But yeah, guys. So this episode, I just want to chill with y'all, catch up, reflect a little, talk about what's going on with the Rebuild Project, because there's a lot going on, baby. We growing. And because, sometimes you guys don't need just a motivational, speech or, a real serious episode. You just need a reminder that you're on the right track. Sometimes I need that validation. Even if it feels loud right now and busy as hell, and crazy as hell, you still need that validation. You need that reminder. Oh, and before I forget, if you guys see Michael Myers out tonight, tell that man I said what's up. Just don't let him follow you home, okay? Don't do that now. So before we dive in, let's talk about the movement, guys. Because like I said, the Rebuild Project is really starting to move, y'all. Man, the love that y'all been showing me lately is fucking insane. Like, I've been getting messages from people saying how an episode hit them deep or a quote helped them through something, that they ain't even told a soul. And they hit me up about it just because my episode or my post. That's what it's really about. Connections, not numbers. This ain't about chasing ghosts for validations. Hey, you like that? It's about growing together, brick by brick, as a real community, as a family, as a movement. And if you haven't yet, y'all, go hit that link in my bio on Facebook and TikTok, or you could just type in beacons.ai/the Austin Poteet. That's where everything lives now. Podcast, book updates, socials, and of course, y'all can't forget the Hot Seat Hotline. And instead of you guys DMing me your submissions to be on the podcast for the Hot Seat Hotline, there's a spot in that link for you guys where you can just click the Hot Seat Hotline and you can fill it out. You can stay anonymous, or you can put your name and your handle, and you can, drop your story, your question, or whatever's haunting your mind. You see, another one, baby. I'm hitting them tonight. And once you guys submit that, I'll read it right here on the show. Some of these omissions have been deep, bro. Like, deep as fuck. And that's the kind of real that I'm looking for. I just want you guys to be real with me. I want you guys to feel safe. So, yeah, go ahead. Throw your submissions out there for real. All right, so lately, guys, I just been thinking, thinking about how quick people forget who kept it real once the help stopped. I'm not gonna get too deep into it because, like I said, I'm just trying to chill. But I just been thinking like it's fucking wild. You can pour your heart out, show up for folks, all that good shit. And the moment that you stop enabling, you stop helping, they start acting like you switched up or some shit. But look, here's the truth. Sometimes growth means ghosting people who only loved your effort, only loved what you could do for them. They didn't love you for you. For a while, I used to let that shit bother me so bad. That shit used to kill me. But I realized I ain't done nothing wrong. I just stopped feeding into folks who only pull up to the table to eat, not to contribute, not to cook, not to get their hands dirty, not to just, check up on you or, to be a shoulder to cry on. And that's not bitterness. That's just balance, bro. And you see, some people, they love the version of you that was easy to manipulate. But when you rise from the ashes and you stop shrinking yourself for people, they call it arrogance. They say you changed, you're showing your true colors. But nah, I'm just done wearing that fucking mask, Halloween or not. I'm done pretending to fit into rooms I've outgrown, and that's just fucking as simple as that. And what's crazy about all this is, once you stop chasing people, the noise fades. It for real does. You finally start hearing yourself again. You slow down, you breathe, you stop carrying that weight that was never even yours to carry in the first place. I think I spoke about this in episode 1 a little bit. And that's what I've been on lately. That's part of my rebuild. Is fucking peace. That's the main thing. I've never had peace a day in my life, and that's my goal. Is freedom and peace. Now look, don't get it twisted though. Peace don't mean just sitting in silence with candles and sage and all that good shit. Though it might help some people with the vibes tonight. Peace is a mindset. Peace is a mindset, you guys. And it's choosing not to let negativity rent space in your head rent free. It's working, grinding, laughing, flowing, rebuilding. Not rushing, not chasing, just flowing, taking a day at a time, one brick at a time. You feel me? And once you realize that and you start doing that, bro, that's fucking power. Ain't nobody stopping you. Because, I used to wake up every day feeling like I had to prove something to somebody. Now I wake up and I remind myself I am that fucking proof. I'm living, walking, breathing proof of that every single day. Every time I show up consistent and solid, that's proof enough. I ain't who I was. I ain't done yet either. But damn, I've came a long way. And that's the real trick or treat of growth, y'all. The treat is freedom. You feel me? And the trick is losing them people who can't handle that shit. See, what we forget sometimes is that we already are living in the middle of what we once prayed for, like I said. Like, bro, this chapter you're in right now, you used to dream about it. You prayed for peace. You prayed for a better life. You prayed for this life. And now you're walking in it. Guys, even if it doesn't look perfect, even if it isn't exactly what you imagined, you still did it. Even if it's not perfect, you're still doing it. So look, this Halloween season, while everybody else is dressing up, maybe it's time You recognize the costume that you took off, the one that hid your worth. Be grateful, guys. Sit in it, feel it, understand it, and become it. Because peace hits different as fuck when you survived your own nightmares, especially on Halloween. I'm telling you. All right, guys. So before we wrap this shit up, let's hit this week's hot seat hotline right quick. I had a submission come in. They wanted to stay anonymous. That's cool. But someone asked, Austin, how do you stay focused when life keeps knocking you off track? And I just love that question. I really fucking do. Cause life gonna test your ass every time, bro. I know this firsthand. Every time you level up, the universe has to check that ID. Fuck, I don't know why. For me, it's all about perspective. Like every setback I've had taught me something. It taught me something that I needed to know. Sometimes you gotta lose to plan to find a purpose. You gotta take them L's to learn. So if life's been throwing you curveballs or, feeling a little haunted lately, woohoo, I'm on fire, baby. But anyways, if it's been feeling a little haunted lately, then just breathe. Just breathe for real. I'm not even bullshitting. Just breathe. Step back. Don't force that shit. Like I said, just flow with it one brick at a time. One day at a time. Some of the best blessings come after that moment that almost buried you, y'all. Remember that. So you ask, how do I stay focused when life keeps knocking you off track? I just keep going, baby. That's it. I fall down, I get back up. I know that's easier said than done. But if you just, like I said, step back, don't force shit, and just do everything one day at a time, one brick at a time, I promise you, your best blessings in life will come. But all right, y'all. If y'all want to send in y'all story or question for the hot seat hotline, hit the link in the bio, or y'all can go to beacons.ai/the Austin Poteet. It's all right there. And you know what though? Since we're talking about focus, I've been seeing how much the rebuild project has, evolved. When I first started, I was trying to figure it out. Now every episode, every post, every message I send, it's like my purpose gets clearer. I'm learning to lead while I'm still growing. To speak from a healed place, not a haunted one. All right. To tell my story without letting my past be the only thing people hear. Lately I've been leaning into that funny side again. I've always loved humor. Humor's always been my love language. It's how I connect. It's how I cope. And for a while, I thought I had to pick between motivational or being funny. But the more I start thinking, you know, I'm trying to be myself. So both matter. Sometimes people don't need deep advice. They just need to laugh to feel human again. That's why I've been mixing memes, with messages, and I've been trying to post more memes, just because that's who I am. Like I said, humor is my love language. I love being funny. I love laughing. A meme can heal just like a quote can. And the fact that more and more people are tapping in, that means everything. It tells me everything I need to know. The movement's growing, but so am I. And that's the magic of this season. We rebuild, we rise, we laugh, and we live in it. So look, I'll leave y'all with this. Stop resurrecting people who already showed you that they were dead weight. Stop explaining your growth to folks who ain't growing. Stop apologizing for outgrowing your old self. You know, you don't owe nobody the ghost of you who you used to be. Rebuilding ain't about tearing down. It's about coming back stronger, wiser, and realer than before. So wherever you're at in your journey, just keep going. Keep pouring into yourself. Keep laying those bricks. The right people gonna show up when the vibes aligned, regardless. And when they do, they'll match your frequency, you know? They won't drain your energy. They'll add to it. All right, y'all. That's it for the Halloween edition of the Rebuild Project. If this one hit home, share it with somebody. Share it with somebody who's out there fighting their own demons, especially on Halloween. That's when we want to kick them demons' asses, you know? And just remind them, they ain't alone. Don't forget to hit that link in the bio to stay plugged in with everything going on. The socials, the book, the Hot Seat Hotline, the whole movement's right there. And on TikTok. So follow me on TikTok too, at the Austin Poteet. But anyways, you guys have a safe night tonight, trick-or-treating, and turning up at your Halloween parties. I'm going to be doing the same. I'm throwing my first Halloween party with my family this year at our house. I'm super stoked. We're doing a costume contest, all that good shit, so it's going to be dope, man. I'm going to post it on TikTok, so y'all look out for that. But all right, y'all. I love y'all. Stay solid. Like I said, stay safe tonight. Oh, and if you see that motherfucker Michael Myers, tell that man that the Rebuild Project said he got to heal too, bro. Real shit. That motherfucker got to heal too. Ain't no excuses. But anyways, we build this thing brick by brick, y'all. Remember that. Lay one brick at a time. I'll catch y'all on the next one, y'all. Stay safe. Happy Halloween. Much love, y'all.